Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about the game Ars Notoria, and I've been doing videos on this. I've been trying to do a video once a month on this game. It has not hit the market yet. My understanding that it's going to be in a playtest demo phase pretty soon. It's got all the things that I am interested in a video game. It's going to be it's a PvE experience, no PvP. It's an open world RPG kind of sandbox game where you can build anything you want. They've got all these things that you can build. You got to go gather the resources. It's got a faction kind of quest system where you do quests in the game and do things in the game that you gain influence through the NPCs or into the factions, and then you can hire NPCs to do things for you in the game, like gather lumber or plants or whatever you might need them for. It's kind of like a city builder, questing, kind of monster killing game. I mean, if you look at some of the pictures here, actually, let's go back to the video. I think I went too far. This video here, you can see that you'll be fighting things in the game, and you'll be playing the game as though like ESO, World of Warcraft, third person mode. You'll be playing a character within the world, and then within the world you can build things you want to build. And what's nice also is this will have a server system where you can invite friends into the world that you're playing. So you could, I think they said up to 10 people can be in the world at a time, maybe more. But the actual quests in monster balancing is up to like 4 people. So you could have 10 people in the world. A few of them could be doing the building, farming, and then the other groups could be out questing. And it looks like a really interesting game, and I've been trying to promote it here for a while now. Now let's just bring over the Discord. And what I normally have done with this is gone to the question, because they have their own Discord channel here. And what I like to do is just go over their answers. I'm just going to scroll up here. The actual developer is this Xron name here. Hi, we finished developing the content for the testing build and are now doing balancing as well as some fixings for the optimization. The development took us longer than we originally planned, mostly because we decided to add several new mechanics like harvesting skills, taming, climbing, etc. in the game. Sorry for the wait. This week we will be a post-dev log update showing and explaining all the new stuff. All right. Once we are fully finished with the balancing and optimization, we will then announce a launch date for the testing build and polish it shortly after, or publish it shortly after. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so they go down here and they talk again. I think that would be possible to implement later on, but we will need to find a way to integrate it with the existing squad management system where a player can switch between multiple characters. Ability, okay, so they're asking, will there be ability probably down the road for parties and disband them with other players? And will be, okay, so a party, I don't know, maybe a party building system where you invite somebody to your party, they show up. I think maybe right now is you're just there. I mean, if you got 4 guys next to you, they're helping you. There's no actual squad management system, I guess is what I understand. I mean, that doesn't matter to me. To keep it kind of the environment smooth, the party system might not make sense if you want immersing, just have these icons sitting on your screen that Bobby Joe and Susie Billy is sitting in your party. I mean, I don't know if you kind of need that for this game. I mean, what they need to do is have they need to play where they know where they're near you, and they have to have direction sense of where you are, because a lot of these party management tools will then give you a mini map telling you where your party members are, and that kind of takes you out of the immersion of the environment. The ambiance of the world when you've got those management tools. Yes, they're nice to have, but if you're looking kind of like for realistic, if my friend is behind me, then he's behind me and he knows he's behind me. and I don't need a mini map or a squad system to tell me where they are. Now, I imagine what they're discussing here is, going to get their hands on the game. I think what they're talking here is just an easy management of putting people in squads. Now, granted, the game can hold, as saying, 10 people comfortably. So, I mean, what's that going to be? What, 2 squads? I mean, so I don't know if putting that much effort into breaking those 10 people up into 2 groups makes a lot of sense. Now, what does make sense, if there's a faction or guild system that people can be in your faction or guild, that your friends can be in it, so they can take advantage of NPCs that might be more friendly to your faction. So that might make sense, where I'm under House Tarkus, and all my friends that jump on are part of House Tarkus, and the world kind of works around the fact that their faction, or their way they communicate with the world, is based on my I don't know, reputation in the environment or in the world. All right, so let's look at the chat here. Okay, so let's go down here. We are still adding content and quests to the game, so it's a bit hard to give the exact numbers now. We are targeting for around 5 to 10 hours for each in-game zone, with some exceptions like the capital city, which can take 20 hours, and 10 zones in total for early access for the versions. This includes both the main story and the optional content like side quests, dungeons, and building. So for the testing environment, you're gonna move. I think what's gonna happen here is it's kind of like a quest progression kind of thing. And you've seen these in older games where you go into this town and they give you a series of quests and you do them. And then if you want more quests, you go into a harder zone. They send you to the swamp area, and you do quests in the swamp area. And then once the swamp area is done, they send you to the lava pit area, and you do quests in the lava pit area. And so you're kind of moving through these zones as you get more experience and as you get better levels and your skills get better. And I think that's how they've done it with this game, so that if you want to go back to an earlier zone, the monsters will just be easier content for you. This person replied, 20 hours is a bit too short? No, question mark. I mean, I'm looking for at least 60 hours in a survival game like Valheim. And the publisher replies, 5 to 10 hours per zone. So with 10 zones, that's between 50 to 100 hours in total. And I imagine if you're a builder and you like building stuff, you're going to spend hours and hours building your mansion, your castle, whatever you're going to be doing in the game. So you've got hundreds of hours just doing that. And then by the time you probably get the 100 hours of actually gameplay content done, the developer will probably have updates by then. More quests added because once the game gets released and people start finding the bugs and fixing the bugs, and this is not a PvP game. So balancing is not a concern amongst players. So the developer don't even have to worry about that. It just comes down to balancing the environment, the world against the player. And then they could have different booleans of hard, difficult, nightmare mode. You know what I mean? So if you want a harder experience, then when you load the game up, you decide, I want nightmare mode. And then everything's hard. Everything you do in the game becomes harder. And then the developer here writes down, sure, you can spend more time on the sandbox part, like building, crafting, and developing your faction. So you've got 50 to 100 hours of doing quests and just doing the stuff in the world. And then on top of that, you got the sandbox aspect of the game. So I think this game is going to be amazing when it hits the shelves. I say the shelves, I kind of date myself because I come from a time before the internet where you had to actually buy your games off a shelf. You had to go physically grab a box and have the CD. You get in there, and the disc would have the CD key across it. So I remember putting the disc in, doing the install, and then they would say, give us the CD key. But the CD key was on the disc. So I'd have to eject it out of the spinner and type it in, and then it would screw the install up. So I'd have to start over. So what you needed to do back then is write it down on a piece of paper, then put it in, start the process. And when it asks you for the key, then you put the key in based on what you wrote down. I mean, those were the days where 56K mode, before 56K modem, really. All right, well, I just wanted to point out again that this game is coming along. It's going to be in the testing phase very soon. I'm hoping to see it before September. I mean, I would like to see it in my hands before September. I mean, I know there's a lot of video games out there on the market that are going to be hitting the market that everybody is looking for to play. So I'm just hoping that they time the release of this game kind of in between things and not try to get washed away by Starfield's numbers. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. Those numbers look to be phenomenal. So hopefully they get this out into the market in our agreeable hands soon. All right, well, thank you for joining me, and this has been The Darkest Zone.